German Pilates. Just pick up the phone and Dear Amy. All this and more on today's Brilliant Observations. Do, 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 do.
Oh my goodness. We barely can still say good morning, Melissa.
This episode brought to you by technical difficulties. Please stand by. Yeah, that's chock full of nuts and we're heavenly. Yes, we've had some issues this morning. I don't know if it's the glorious weather. I don't know if it's the wind, forest fires, I don't know, Yellowstone sweeping houses into rivers. I don't know what is the cause.
I don't know
but
if it's the general fuck nuttery going on in the U.S. of A, but I am ready to leave it all at the curb.
No lie, we've never let fuck nuttery ever influence our bullshit before anyway. How are you today, Amy?
I'm doing good. I'm going with good. I had two things happen today that were unexpected, which aren't my faves, but I am leaning in and saying that's great. I had a meeting I was looking forward to for some time. Have to get moved, so that won't happen now until well after July 4th. So that's up and down. And I hurt my shoulder. I always tend to hurt my shoulder when I restart some exercise.
Whoa, let's talk about that. First on our list for today, right out of the gate, German Pilates.
Oh my goodness. So I stopped going to Pilates right about the time when I launched a gourmet nut brittle business. I decided, let's just go further in the direction away from one's dreams. I'm going to eat fat sugared nuts, right? All the live long day. And fully stop exercising or paying any attention to the healthful foods I put into my body or any self-care at all, really. So I jumped on that train and drove it all the way until everything was like seizing like an engine with no oil. That's
Let's
the state
just
of my
say
body.
that the tires came off the vehicle.
Wheels on the bus go flying off, killing you and everyone else. Yeah, that's
But luckily, people love to help. So
people do love to help. So I restarted Pilates. So went to a couple of classes last week. I was on the daily plan, and I'm now actively back on the daily plan. So today being Monday was first day of the week for me, the Pilates week. And they have a new instructor now. They have many new instructors. And this one is German. And wowzy, she is very kind, very sweet.
Thought you were going in a different direction.
No, she's super kind. Well, Gingy, we used to call her the dominatrix because she's this little tiny Asian-looking grandmother who walks in there, ding, 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 and you think she's just going to say, peace and love, joy and happiness, and instead she's talking about like sexual positions, and she'll put you in a pretzel and make you cry for your mama. Like she was awful, so hard. And this one, you think, oh, okay, she's like, whatever feels good for your body, we do now for your body. So she's excellent in the sense that it's very helpful. But here's where she's not excellent. She doesn't really understand the language all that well.
Oh, no.
So she's trying to describe things for you to do. And I've lost the words this morning for how to do it. So you just do it. Whatever feels good for your body. And I'm like, nope, you can't have your eyes closed, your legs in the air, you're flat on your back, your arms are in straps. You don't know what is up and what is down. And then some German woman is saying, and also I do not just put your, No.
First of all,
no.
I saw on the board German Pilates, and my DNA was like, I cannot have a German yelling at me to do things.
She's so sweet. And then she loses her train of thought and stops counting.
Oh.
So you'll be doing it right, and she'll go, this looks lovely. You all look so very strong, like a bunch
3,
of warriors. I'm
2,
so happy for you.
1.
And this is beautiful. In the mirror, look at yourselves. You're gorgeous. Pull your arms back. It's beautiful. I love it. It's fantastic. Oh, and now 10. 9. And you've been doing this. And I'm like, fuck you, Greta. Fuck you, Greta. Feel it in your body. Feel your heart begin to pump and explode through your body, and the stroke will come, and EMT is here. I mean, it was like, what are you doing, lady?
It sounds
awful.
like you have Dr. Ruth Westheimer.
Oh, she's just
leading you through stretches.
And she's like part Raquel Welch. Where, did you ever remember Raquel Welch doing her yoga thing? And
sure
she
do.
would hold poses that made her look good, and that wasn't necessarily the best way to do yoga. So this woman has poses and things that she likes, and so she'll do a whole bunch of stuff on the right side of your body, and then forget to do the equal and opposite on the left.
No.
And I'm like, lady, I gotta be balanced. Come on now.
You gotta even me out here, please.
No. And you're up on this fucking ball like a dog at the circus with your ass in the air. I mean, it was a fucking lot. I'm new. I mean,
Sounds like she's new too. Okay.
I don't know.
So here's what I'm taking from this. Dr. Ruth is bringing you gently back into your old routines.
Yes, rip your shoulder from your socket.
Okay,
swing it around your head.
Yeah. So you hurt yourself?
Well, I tried. I don't understand. Most of the time, the way a Pilates reformer, you're on basically like a flat machine, and it works with springs, and you set the springs with these little color-coded system. So they're constantly telling you, okay, we want one red, one blue. We want a red, a green, and a blue. And that's just changing the weight for you, okay? So everyone usually makes it way too light. I've never had somebody, they always make it too light, and I always modify to make it a little bit stronger because I have muscles under all of my copious amounts of fat. Not so with Greta. She was like, we'll do two red and blue. And it was unbelievable. And I haven't been there enough to remember. I'm like, isn't that a setting for legs? And we were doing this for shoulder rotations.
She killed you.
Everybody was like, no, Greta. They just stopped. And she's like, oh, it's too difficult. Well, you modify. And so I'm not getting off this ball. It takes so much of my energy to stand on the top of the Empire State Building on my nose. And I cannot fucking disravel all of this shit so I can change the number. So I just did it hard. And my shoulder's like, stop. And I'm like, you're going to keep going. You're going to hurt yourself and go. And then we got on the floor and did military push-ups. I'm like, I'm in Pilates. I'm not in boot camp. I need to be on the reform. It was painful. So
they say that the push-up is the best exercise for your entire body.
Well, she says that too.
Oh, did she?
Yes. It's why we must get strong. We get stronger here. And I'm like, oh, fuck you. Just come on, Arnold. Back away. The whole thing. So I did that today, and I'm going with good for me, even though my shoulder is super out. I mean, even look at the way I'm sitting. I'm like off fucking balance.
You're a little cockeyed.
I am off balance. Fuck you, Greta. Thank you, Greta. It'll be great. It's great. Health is fucking great. I love health.
Well, I'm glad you're back on the wagon, taking care of yourself. I spent the weekend with Stuart and I spent the weekend with a couple who is also trying to take care of ourselves, right? We all ride Peloton. Amy's trying to even out her shoulders. She's trying to make them level. It's not good. You need a level. That's what you need. You need a level.
Tell me about your friends who are excuse me.
Well, so I know people with whom we socialize occasionally who don't eat this, don't eat that, don't ever do this, don't. And if I'm going out and I'm going to be somewhere and there's a sugary, fruity cocktail that sounds delicious or a beautiful basket of bread put down in front of me. No, in my day-to-day life, I don't typically eat and drink that way, but I'm out now and I'm coming out. So I want the world to know, why not treat yourself well? Thank you. You are out and a boot. You should really be just enjoying things. Why?
Well, it's about balance. If you're not actively starting to launch or stay in a really critical moment in a program, those are different times. If you're just living your fucking life,
yes,
I think living your life involves balance. So that means sometimes you're going to go in the wrong direction and then you will course correct and come back to the thing.
Course correct. Yes. Yeah. Sometimes you will stop at Crumbl Cookies on your way to your friend's beach house and pick up 20 billion calorie cookies that taste literally like a Twix bar and made Melissa cry as she ate it. And then why not it was just such a pleasure to be out with people who also had a garlic knot, who also enjoyed just carbs. And then here we are at Monday, back on the bike and back having your egg white omelet. But please realize egg white omelets are not enjoyable. Spending time with friends and eating a basket of bread is enjoyable. And
egg white omelets can be quite enjoyable, but I take your point.
False.
No, I'll help you. But my point being, your point is the same, right? If you're going to do things that aren't your favorite, you have to find room for your fucking favorites. That's how that works.
Just a balanced sort of meal life. Like I don't know. And I've been out, and there are people I do love. Could you welcome to this candy store I'm showing you at the beach? Could you enjoy something? I'm getting a box. I like my box. So why can't you enjoy something? Like, come on. If you don't have joy in your life, if you don't have that, you're just spending your life suffering and pushing harder and putting on 2 red and a blue. Like, why wouldn't you? What are you working so hard if not to enjoy other things? You don't go to work every day and think, I don't know anybody who goes to work every day and thinks, I fucking love this. I don't know why I have a home life. This is the way to go. Can I stay here longer?
Right.
Yeah, it's just.
I would do this if I wasn't being paid. Yeah, would you though? Okay.
Would you still enjoy it? That was all the time.
Kind of think no.
I'm going to think no also.
Anyway. So I'm glad that you were able to crumble yourself into some delectable cookies with friends who similarly enjoy. That's very good.
And then
I like this.
Get right back on the bike or the wagon or the whatever. Just get back to what made you the person who could enjoy that fucking Twix cookie. By the way, Crumbl. Are you familiar with Crumbl? Are you a fan?
I am, but not intimately. I see them everywhere. They're on a par with. They're kind of a hybrid between something like a Duck Donuts and also a Insomnia Cookies. Like it's all cookies, gigantic, big, but can't you customize them as well on top or no?
They customize. I love Duck Donuts. I love that they customize them, but I never have them do it. I just eat the hot cinnamon.
Ready to go.
Joy.
Drip.
Yes, that's. I'm just drooling. Thank you. I think I'm going to Duck Donuts after recording now. These cookies, they have specials. It's like a drop, like every other advertising marketing boon. So they have this past week, it was like Twix and Reese's peanut butter cup cookies, and they'll have like one weird fruit thing in there. And this coming week, the one we're in now, has the Cosmic Brownie. Do you know the Cosmic Brownie?
No, but is it a bit like a slutty brownie?
The Cosmic Brownie is like a brownie cookie, and it has chocolate ganache on top with little dots of colorful candy-covered chocolate.
Constellation of yumminess.
Yes, it's joy. There are like 4 of a honey bun. Like it's just, I'm guessing, like a cinnamon bun, but with honey drizzled on top.
I feel like a constellation brownie should somehow have like a Rice Krispie treat integrated into it.
Last week, Rice Krispie treat was one of their cookies that my husband plowed through. They are on your
Getting to know the Crumbl. I like it.
You're on the same board as they are. So Google and see what's near you. First, I thought, I'm not spending that money on it. Oh, this is fucking delicious. I want to work in the lab that discovered the perfect shortbread cookie, the perfect, caramel could be different.
Yes,
different places,
so,
texture, butter, salt, all of the things can make the time
caramel
you cook the
can
butter.
be as and is frequently as different as chocolate can be different. There's all grades,
broad
all styles,
spectrum,
all permutations.
Yes. They in their Crumbl lab duplicated the Twix caramel perfectly.
This week on NASA Presents
That's
Crumbl
it.
Lab.
In the lab near you.
Oh,
I want to open a lab.
I'm ready.
I want you to start baking, and I want to just sit there on weekends because I know I can't do it all week long.
I am starting. I'm doing this cooking show, and that was the other thing that was a little disappointing. I did have scheduled a meeting this evening, a dinner meeting with the executive producer for the show to talk about paths to production, and we had to move it based on schedule conflicts on both sides. So I'm a little frustrated by that. But the good news is it gives me another week to go ahead and keep building and doing content. I've been out. I haven't been doing content. All this long walk by way of saying, today, my plan is to cook a bunch and film a bunch, and I don't want to eat a bunch. So it's a little weird to be caught in this situation where I need to ramp up production just to get some videos in the queue. Whereas before, when I was sort of doing this as a kind of extension of my lifestyle and frankly, a reinforcement of my lifestyle, I'm healthy eating. Let's watch. I'll show you how to do it. I'm going to continue doing that because I have to. But what I don't have to do is cook a whole bunch of Crumbl Cookies in the whatever and then have mountains of Crumbl Cookies all around me, which I would super do today. But that's not good for me. So
I see you concocting the perfect Alfredo sauce, but then you're sitting there in my lab looking at this Alfredo sauce thinking, I'm going to need to eat that, and I'm going to need to eat all of that. So I
actually did that last night for Father's Day. It was a request of my husband. It is the simplest Alfredo I have ever made. It's all technique. It's 4 ingredients. It was the best you've ever had in your life. It's so easy and so good. It's easy in the sense that all it takes is technique and patience. It doesn't take skill.
2 things Melissa does not have.
It's tricky because when you think you're making fettuccine Alfredo, you think, oh, I've got to do this or it'll come together quickly, or if I just hurry. Nope. It's about slow down, slow down, slow down.
My friend Brandy makes risotto like that. It's like
that's
just
another one. You got to.
Time. And I'm like, can't you? Stuart's answer is, can't you just cook it on a higher heat and have it? I'm like, you're so dumb. Can't you? Can't you be done sooner? Because we all want it. It's so good. Like
the starch that the rice gives off, the starchiness in the water that the pasta gives off while cooking only happens through time, and you use it as an ingredient. So you can't you bake a cake faster by putting it at 400 degrees? Mm-hmm. That's called a burnt cake. You can.
My husband would say yes.
Yeah, and he's not going to be happy with those results.
And he's not a baker. Right. Nobody's
eating his cakes. So speaking of your husband, how was your Father's Day?
Father's Day. I texted your man. I was like, hey.
What?
Hey, happy Father's Day, buddy.
He's so creepy. He said nothing. I was with him all day. He said nothing about it.
Okay, that's okay.
No, to say something like, oh, look, how kind. Missy says hi.
I didn't say hi. I just said Happy Father's Day. So maybe he didn't want to make you feel bad, knowing that you would see me.
Yeah, I'm sure he was thinking of my feelings.
He's always thinking of your feelings. Is that he's always thinking of your feelings, or he's always thinking of feeling you? I don't know. It's one or the other.
Oh, Lord. So how was Father's Day in your world, in your life?
Fine.
Yeah.
It was nice because, again, we spent time with friends, and my son's like, do I need to be here for this?
Nice.
So, no. Then we were planning a yummy dinner, and he said, coming back from the beach, we have so many leftovers. Why don't we just eat leftovers? And I said, okay.
I love you. Yes. Yeah, I love you. Leftovers. I choose you again.
And again. Always choose you.
Perfect.
But I, you know what I didn't choose? I don't know who your insurance carrier is, but do you have Geico for anything?
We don't. We sure don't.
Dear Geico customers, I'm pretty sure your insurance rates are probably going to go up, and I'm going to tell you why. They just settled a case for $5.2 million.
Okay.
The case was not for a physical car body damage. They also cover in their policy physical person damage, and somebody sued Geico for getting HPV while in the car.
That's not
It is.
real.
Yeah, it is. They settled
You don't
the case.
get HPV. You don't get it from the car or being in the car.
They were in the car having sex, got HPV, and Geico paid them $5.2 million. Now, instead of saying, what a horrible person and stupidity, like the person who spilled coffee on themselves and then blamed McDonald's, you need to start thinking outside of the car or the box or your box.
I got to stop you right there. Even the McDonald's thing, as egregious as that was, I can still at least trace a line of culpability back to the product being heated to an excessively hot degree, right? If it was not excessively hot, burns would not have resulted to the degree that they did. There's culpability there. The car has no way of inserting a dick into your lady bits or parts or male bits or parts. The car cannot give you HPV. It's not a carrier. It's not a prophylactic. It has zero engagement in what you do in the car.
And
I
yet,
don't even understand how this was not immediately thrown out and where the culpability. I mean, there's no path that involves.
$5.3 million.
That's
HPV.
false. That's idiotic. That can't be. Did you get this on Reddit or is that real? That can't be real.
First of all,
That can't
I'm
be
going to
real.
defend Reddit. I haven't been on Reddit in years. But what? Just because it's there, just because it's on TikTok doesn't mean it's not true. Just because it's on Reddit.
This is from TikTok?
No, I read it online, but that doesn't mean that it's true
Okay.
either. But I definitely read it online.
Did,
I will
did
do
you
more
read
research.
it on famously untrue stories that
Did
sound
you-
real?
Read it on Snopes, my favorite
.net?
site. No, I did not. $5.3 million. Thank you,
That
Geico.
is insane.
I will be filing my suit for,
obesity. I got obesity while I was driving in my car because I kept driving to fast food places in my car. There's a more direct path to me becoming obese because of my car, enabling me to drive through fast food instead of having a healthy lifestyle, enabling me to drive everywhere. There is a more direct path to that bullshit than there is to sticking it
HPV.
and getting some pre-cancer. What? No.
Dear listener, if you are a lawyer, Amy would like to hire you to represent her with Geico and see if she can get herself a nice 5.3 settlement as well. Rusty, if you are still listening, my favorite lawyer out there, I'd like for you to chime in and either help Amy or re-guide us as to how this happened.
Even shoot low. Maybe just some free milkshake coupons. Like whatever we're going for.
Frosties
right?
forever?
Something.
Is that what we're talking
if
about?
Geico's being this stupid. Yeah, Frosties forever. I mean, free Frosties for life. Come on, Geico.
That's what we want.
You
That's what
obviously
we want.
don't know what you're doing. So, let's set it up.
It's a very litigious society that we need to fix that. And I don't think that this settlement, real or imagined by me, is helping our case at all. Everything could be settled easier if you listen to my husband by picking up the phone. My daughter had a friend, a fallout, and his answer is, just call her. Do you know that this generation would rather public speak nude than pick up the phone and
Fight
call anyone?
to the death. Yes. There's nothing like actual human interaction. And honestly, actual human interaction is still preferred as to phone interaction. That is the lowest form of interaction. They would rather talk to a human in person than have to talk over the phone, which makes even less sense to me. But that's where it is. That's the truth.
It's just the craziest thing I've ever seen. I have a fight or a misunderstanding with my girlfriend. I immediately go to the store, get chocolate bars, ding dong, ditch them on her, or see her face in person, and we're like, wait, what were we? Oh, I forgot for a second there because of how I felt about something that you unintentionally did, how much I love you, or how much, it was you. People, put yourself either in person or on the phone, solve all the world's problems.
A click, a dick, a clickety to the dickety click tick, a dickety click click, a tickety a ding ding, dagga dong ding, a digga digga.
I have a couple of Dear Amy's to talk to you about. The listeners have written in for help.
What?
And they're very similar, so I'm going to combine them into one.
Okay, I'm here for it. Let's go.
What was our tagline? We're here. We'd love not to help.
We love not to help. Yeah,
Okay.
because people love to help, and we'd love to not help you, I think is how it was.
We have somebody else wrote in who asked about like when a conversation takes a turn on you. And I'll tell you that I went to have that whole laser foot thingy finished, for me.
Oh, God, the big toe.
It's over. Yep, it's over. I went for my last thing, and I sat there.
Well, wait a minute. Do you mean you now are in full possession of a completed toenail?
I have half a toenail now. It has grown halfway from nowhere to the middle of my toe.
That's so strange. And what do you do in public? Do you cover it with a Band-Aid, or
I
do you
do. I
proudly
put some-
proudly display this is what you're looking at?
It depends. During the day, I cover it with a Band-Aid, but if I am going to be walking on the beach, which is really good for exfoliating and salt water and all the stuff that your foot really needs anyway, I am to the air. I will walk there in sandals, flip-flops, and I will just walk on that beach and hope for some natural repair.
Well, do you experience any pain with any sand or grit or anything getting
Sand
on
or
the
grit,
open skin?
no. Dogs pushing off my foot to go race after something and dig in. Yeah, it's the worst. Like, it's really bad. So when I'm done dancing after they kick off of me, other than
Well,
that, I'm okay.
Congratulations to you.
Congratulations.
Mhm.
So the guy's lasering my foot and holding my foot, and I'm already want to throw up on him because get the fuck off me. But then he starts talking about how, and there are a couple of people who have approached me with this before too, and I'm curious, dear Amy, what when he starts saying things like, well, kids, school, and then he throws out the word pronouns, I think, oh no, this conversation's taking a turn. He said, you can't just pick your pronouns. There are only two genders. And I felt like your shoulders all of a sudden got like really high and tight, like the best haircut, nice high and tight. And I just tensed up, and I think he must have felt it because he's holding one of my appendages. Then he says, we don't send our kids to school to learn pronouns. And in my head, I thought,
yeah, you do.
Actually,
okay.
sir. Actually, sir. First, can I have my foot back? And second, yes, you fucking do. Right?
Okay.
So then I think I told you before, my daughter goes to work, and the older lady who's working there starts saying, trans is ridiculous and you are what you are, and gay is like, she's going to spend her summer defending gays and trans people for having the right to exist. She's like, I don't know that it's my job to educate the entire world. And I'm like, how about just this one stupid woman? Like, how about that? Okay, what do you do when you're talking to somebody and you're all in and you're conversing and the conversation takes a turn, and then you realize the person with whom you're conversing does not, A, share your values, B, share common sense, C, have any clue as to what planet they're living on? Like, what do you do when you think you're one place and all of a sudden the earth rotates and you're looking at just a very different situation?
You know, I have a lot of direct experience with this very topic.
Well,
and this weekend was a prime example. Time was, for the past 15 years of my professional career, which has taken a huge pivot in the past 2.5 years. So prior to that, a good 15, 20 years, I was working with folks who never knew, ever, anything about my real life point of view on things. They knew everything about my professional view on things as it related to how we interacted with each other, but they didn't know how I voted. They didn't know what I liked. They did anything controversial,
So
any subject.
A work box. And
I
a
just
life
didn't.
Box.
It was just social media. It was never a part of it. Down to even this podcast in the early days was a real interesting tightrope for me as I slowly introduced a few of my select clients into, okay, I'm a little bit more myself. It might be a side of me you don't necessarily get to see. So, okay. So now cut to, since, we'll just call it COVID and beyond, through, in, now, and moving forward, all bets are off. And it really became, I embrace
tits out, man. Tits out.
I sold my company. I only want to be around authentic people. I am who I am. I am working to improve nothing is guaranteed. We have, this moment and that's it. Time to be authentic. And when you do that, you're going to attract more authentic people to you. I also understand and endorse doing that in a really respectful way. I'm not actively out trying to shame other people to believe what I believe. However, and this is what brings it full circle, this weekend, I was at a very large lacrosse tournament, very, very larger than usual, lots and lots and lots of teams that we're all associated with. Father's Day, so we all got together and had a multi-team celebration. And you're just talking to lots of parents, and they're mostly all dudes who are there traveling. And quickly, the conversation shifts from the player in the game to life.
I'm so nervous.
And they all start, and we're in the South, and we're in, it really opens your eyes very quickly to, oh, okay, a lot of bumper stickers come out, a lot of talking points come out, a lot of, when you're drinking a lot of alcohol, a lot of casual conversation shifts into, they think they're very comfortable and with the kind of people, right? Because I don't walk into the room waving my trans, Black Lives Matter, rainbow, LGBTQ,
right. I have it on a t-shirt.
IA+.
People already
I don't.
me.
No. So I don't do any of that stuff. My husband is far more out there in terms of his opinions on this than I am in terms of his social media. But I also don't think we don't relate to each other or know each other based on our social media that much. In these kinds of settings, it's really about the game and the players. And then when you start socializing, now you realize, oh, wait, where in the wow? Okay.
So what do you do when you hear shit like that?
Here's all that I believe you can do. And it's a hybrid between my former life, which doesn't work, and my cocooned 2020 immersion, which also doesn't work, which is put the blinders on, echo chamber, like me, listen to me, or get away from me. That's the equal and opposite.
Right. Not
of,
if you're going to
I'll shut
with
up
the world.
and listen to your offensive shit roll and dance in that hot tub. No, both of those are wrong. And the middle of the road approach is you can only be responsible for your views and your impact on the world. So I can have a conversation with anybody about any of their views. And if they're asking things in the form of a question that looks like it's inviting my endorsement or consent, I don't give it. And I'm happy to say something along the lines of, well, we disagree there, or I would push back on that. But then that's it. So I don't need to push back. Simply saying something along the lines of, well, I disagree with you there. And then we continue talking about whatever we were talking about. Like, I can disagree with you without having to actively engage in the disagreement. You're not asking me to, you're not saying, hey, Amy, can you change my view on this? Hey, Amy, can we debate this? You're simply expressing a view as if I agree with it. So
and
for me to,
odds are you're drunk in that situation. So what would even be the point of engaging?
So for me to simply stand there and say, I disagree, or, I think that's a little far. I wouldn't phrase it that way. That actually hurts me and my feelings, or I am trans. So I don't talk about it that way. Like, I say that kind of stuff, right? And then people, a lot of times,
I am black,
don't know what the fuck to do. Yeah, I am black. And then they're, I mean, fortunately for us, we don't tend to have racism as any kind of the issue. Honestly, we don't have trans as any kind of the issue, or LGBT. Like, we've never discussed gender politics at all. But politically, yeah, that's kind of Fox News. If you don't know it, Fox News is the channel that's on in every hotel and every gas station everywhere in the world. And I was in Maryland this weekend. It's not like I was, in Louisiana.
Well, Maryland's home of the KKK, so.
My point being, it's a cable situation, and that's for, a John Oliver show yet to be aired. But the reality is, the politics are playing on the screens in these public spaces where we're gathering. So that often will start this conversation going, or people will be a little drunk, or they'll make a joke about gas, or make a joke about who knows what, or the Ukraine war, all the things that aren't funny and that are really serious, but it's what you end up talking about. And so I just sort of let people say whatever they're going to say until it starts to step over the line into, don't you agree? And in subtle and not so subtle ways of pulling me in or expanding the conversation. And then I'll just kind of sidestep and shut it down. And I think, by and large, people are respectful enough that they don't want to fight you on it. I think the only people who want to fight you on it start out fighting. And when you shut that down, they got nowhere to go.
Right.
People who are just talking about their views are talking about them and sort of forget themselves. Oh, I'm actually not standing at the RNC right now.
Right.
Maybe I'll just be aware of who's with me, and we can all be civil and fine. And that's honestly, I think, how the world works. Then there's a whole subsection of people who come walking in, and it's a weird flex for me to use this as the phrase, but I was like, guns a-blazing. But that's how funny, because you say you walk in, somebody walks in, guns a-blazing.
It's one of our issues,
And one of our issues, yeah. So it walks in, guns a-blazing, because they're looking for a fight. And then the best thing I could do is not give a fight, right? And then that's almost more enraging to this poor person.
Yeah, I'm sorry,
who
that's
only
just not
wanted,
my experience. That's not my experience.
What do you mean? They fight and fight and fight, and the fight doesn't stop?
No, I mean, if you say, oh, that's interesting, that's not my experience. I've learned to say things like, that's fascinating. So it's Joe Biden's fault that the gas is what the gas costs right now? I'm so curious. Where did you read that? Like, where?
That's you engaging, though.
I know.
So it's funny when you said that's not my experience. I thought you meant, you can't extricate yourself from these situations. No. But if you want to talk to them about it, I mean, where did you read that? Now that's defensive, meaning you're putting them on the defensive.
Well,
right?
Well, if their information is like, let's arm all teachers, and I'm like, that's interesting. The case study you quoted about how there's no gun violence in the schools in Norway. You think it's because all those teachers are armed? Like, you think this country isn't fucked up with their obsession with munitions? Like, what? Whoa, that's interesting. You're right. I used to engage the guy holding my Tootsie as I was about to, as he's like,
Well, he said something honestly offensive. Like he didn't say something that was an opinion. He didn't say something that was a point of view. He said something that was actively offensive to a large category of people. So that's very different.
That category being people with information. Well,
yeah, I mean, it's offensive to me.
People.
Like, so that's the kind of thing where it gets really weird when you're in, I was going to say a subservient position, which you kind of are, but when you're at a
right,
the situation I described, the situation I described is we're all equals. We're choosing to be here.
Right.
And we can leave at any time.
Right.
And we can engage with each other in any way that we wish.
You're providing a service to me as a physician.
I'll see you again, but it's effectively like you're my neighbor at a cookout, right? I'm going to be with you for a while, so I'm going to also remember that and maybe not get into it because we're not just passing each other at the Quickie Mart, never to be seen again. Like our kids are on the same team.
Right.
We're in a relationship, better or worse, right? So let's at least be aware of who we're dealing with. And for me, the best I can do is protect myself from not staying silent, right? I don't need to pick a fight, but I also don't need for things to kind of swirl all around me without me saying, nope, so I'm going to do that.
Right. In my situation, I was in a physician's office.
Totally different.
A physician that knows my husband. Like, it's not bad enough I'm his, like, crackhead wife. Like, I now need to be militant with my opinion. Like, I thought, oh, that's interesting. That's not been my experience, was all I wanted to get out of there with, So I don't usually engage. But sometimes, man, when you tell me
my brother is really an interesting case. My brother is as far away from me politically as is possible to be. He is just, absolutely red, right? Actively, aggressively red. And he, for his whole life, has owned his own business. And it was an auto body repair shop. He would, he raced cars. He was a motorcycle racer. He was all in it all the time. And I just remember he had this phrase that he would always pull out long before politics. Well, no, because people would be there in this moment of panic and crisis, and they're telling you all this stuff. So he would just interrupt in the middle of them talking, whatever the thing is. And then my dog jumped out and he says, back to the car. Like, he just would say, back to the car. And then he would begin telling them the estimate or whatever. And it kind of felt...
He reclaimed his time.
He
reclaimed his time, Senator.
And I thought... Look at you figuring out how to deal with people instead of throttling putting your hands around their throat and killing them. Yeah, it's like and also standing there for an hour being, air quotes, polite, costing yourself business. You go back to the car. So, and people would sort of realize, oh, we are here to talk about the car. So I feel like in that foot situation, you could have maybe stiffened your heel, not kicked him,
right?
Stiffened your heel and said, back to the toe. And ask any other kind of change the topic question. I feel like that's if you are in a redirect, but back to the primary relationship. Your relationship with him is not one of politics.
It's not social. It's not one of political
And I don't
issues.
even know why I'm calling it politics. Your relationship with him is not of misgendering and stigmatizing and having hate speech around an entire category of people. That's not your primary relationship with him. Your primary relationship with him is fix my fucking toenail.
Please.
So back to the toe. Yeah. Okay, back to the toe. I'm worried about polish. Or can I maybe stick this up my husband's ass? Like anything at all. And if he doesn't take that hint, that's when you can do the active shutdown thing. I'm uncomfortable having this conversation with you. Let's talk about something else.
But really, can I stick this up my husband's ass? Like, I'm
or
just
yours
curious.
If you keep talking. Yes.
Or you're going to feel it sooner than my husband will. Yeah, I can't. I definitely watched the clock. I counted the toes. It's self-meditation. Like, I went in my head a little bit as he's talking, but I did use the phrase, that's actually not been my experience.
Right, and that's a fair one. That's absolutely fair. That's good for you.
And that's all I really left it at because I really wanted to get out of there. I didn't want to engage further. Didn't you say you have dogs? Like, you get back to shit that we can relate on because your opinion about some of these things are really concerning to me. You are the people that we tell our kids about, and we, warn our kids about for the most part. And that's really
That's not
unfortunate.
been my experience. Is a gentler form of I'm not comfortable talking about this with you, right? And he'll get that. She'll get that when you
Right.
say that kind of phrase. And if they don't, then bring out the big guns. No, stop. Back up. I punch you now.
Put my foot down now. Step away from the toe.
I punch you now. Feel your heart leaving your body.
And now we fight.
And now we fight.
We absolutely fight. Wait, get me my foot back, and now we fight. I heard an interesting statistic this weekend while with friends.
Lay it on me.
7 minutes of intercourse, which is
Oh.
really the average,
Not that much.
unfortunately,
Okay. Okay.
for women. 7 minutes of intercourse is equal to 1.3 hours in the gym.
What? That's not true.
Look, if you're going to keep saying that my Geico stats and my sex to workout stats are not true, I don't know what I'm going to do. I can't just keep coming here.
I didn't gain this much weight staying, wink, out of the gym. Okay, it's not equivalent to that much time in the gym. It's just not.
1.3 is 7 minutes of sex.
Come on. What are you doing in the gym? Standing there looking around? Like, that's either a really shitty gym experience. 7 minutes to an hour and a half? That's not the math. The math's not mathin'. I dispute
You
these
don't feel
findings.
like when you start working out, you don't start sweating until like 15 minutes in, or you don't start like that kind of, I think the full body workout of climbing on top of your man and
Yeah.
spinning around and flipping the lights and dropping the swing, 7 minutes of that is equivalent to like an hour at the gym. It says 1.3, but
I don't
someone's not doing it
know.
right. Is that what you're saying? Someone's not doing it right, or either at the gym or in the bed or on the swing?
Here's why I'm hesitating. When I'm at the gym, I am absolutely, and by gym, I mean in air quotes, when I am exercising using any method, right? When I am and doing some sort of exercise in any method, every single thing that I'm doing it to the furthest breaking point that I can do. When I'm doing the opening stretch, I'm stretching as if I'm making my body longer. So I'm doing opening stretches and I work up a sweat. I work really, really hard because I don't do it all that often. And I want to get the most out of it that I possibly can. When I'm having sex, I am, for the most part, trying to get myself to completely relax. I don't know. It's so weird to think of it as a workout. Am I tired? Yeah. Am I sore? Yeah, I get it. But not like, you don't agree with
Would that
this?
make you stay home from the gym more?
Yes.
I
Are
can
you
accomplish
kidding?
this in 7 minutes. Let's go.
Yes, that's the other thing. That's why I'm like, that shit ain't working. That's not getting my fucking result. I mean,
Let's
it gives a result, but
go.
it's not getting the result it's not changing the shape of my ass. Like,
As long
that
as I'm not
doesn't help
pregnant.
me.
As long as it's
Come
not getting me
on.
pregnant, I'm fine with it.
If you're talking on a basic level, heart rate, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's probably fair. That probably makes sense. Your heart rate is definitely elevated. I can go there. Yes. But the rest of it, come on. It's not like lifting weights for that amount of time. No.
It depends on how you do it.
An hour and a half of lifting weights is equivalent to 7 minutes of lifting a dick. His dick
No,
ain't that heavy.
Can't be. I'm assuming they just meant cardio, but I guess that's two things I now need to research further. The Geico
I just say have
HPV
sex
settlement.
longer. Right. In the car. Now you just go have sex longer in the car, and then you tell me, Geico. Buy
If
me
you're
a gym
paying for
membership,
it.
maybe. Right.
If you're
it all
paying
combines.
for
It
my
all
gym
combines.
membership. What are you asking about? Is it Truman Capote or Edgar Allan Poe?
Well,
if you
I
don't
was
know the
gonna
difference between those two humans, that's the problem.
a conference I attended and frankly helped host on behalf of one of my clients. So I sort of helped run the conference for 5 days in this past week was for travel writers and associated folks in the tourism and hospitality industry.
Great.
Just to oversimplify, everybody involved at this conference is a storyteller of some kind. They're either telling a story that's going to compel you to come to their place and spend
Right.
more money, or they are in the business of telling stories about all the other places. So it was a little bit like a swap meet. Everybody wanted, so we had half and half. People, let me show you how great my place is so you could talk about it. And then other people looking around for, I'm really looking for great stories. Are you that story? So storytelling. So at the socials and the cocktails and all the things that we're doing, I was amazed that everybody has a ghost story.
Really?
I've been so amazed by this that I brought it up with the lacrosse people who have nothing to do with this. And it's starting to develop a theme. Everyone there has a ghost story. Do you have a ghost story?
I mean, I don't know that I would call it a ghost story, but I went to camp for years, and there are stories they tell about the camp and the person whose parents died or haunts the main house or whatever. There are stories, but personal, like in a house I don't have anything like that. I have
everybody,
urban legend.
it seems, well, but you've even heard it. Okay, so it seemed that everybody at this conference, and a lot of people at the lacrosse thing, everybody has a ghost story and they wanted to tell it. And because they were writers, I felt like I was either dealing with Truman Capote, people who were massive drunks, who were up on stage, no matter if there was a stage anywhere in the near vicinity.
Yeah,
they were commanding the room. We were all in raptures, right? We just couldn't get enough of them. Or they were the creepiest, weirdest, nerdiest. Get the fuck away from me. Yes, they really were two distinct camps of people. They were either life of the party, a million stories. I want to be around you. Every word that comes out of your mouth, I'm hanging on it. You're so cool. Or I would not want to pump gas next to you because you're really strange.
Right.
What is that you're wearing? What is that you're drinking? What is that you're writing while we're talking?
What is that knocking that's coming from beneath your chair?
All of it and everything. Sitting in the corner. You don't even have social talk. Like you can't figure out how to do it. Like it was just so bizarre. But in all of that, one of the Truman Capote types busts out and starts telling all these paranormal visits that he had. We were all staying in a hotel, of course, because it was a conference. So they're talking about haunted hotels where they've stayed and telling stories. And he was a little bit gay and started to tell the story about how a gay spirit had spooned him and he felt the presence of a body laying next to him in the bed. And at the moment when he turned over to say, like, why do I feel like there's a person in this bed with me? He felt an icy arm go across his chest. Like he was telling this story in a way that made you believe that he believed it, even if your eyeballs and whole face is going, no, no, no. Okay.
Dear listener, do you have a ghost story? If you do, I desperately want to hear it. I live for this shit, which might be shocking to any of you who don't know me at all. If you'd like to share it with us, Amy as well would love to hear it. brilliantobservations@gmail.com. Leave us your story at Brillobs Squad on Facebook or just Brilliant Observations there, or go to Instagram at Listen Brilliant or Twitter at Listen Brilliant and let us know your ghost story. I think everyone who has one wants desperately to share it, and I want desperately to hear it.
I got one that's even better for you. So after he told us this crazy, creepy thing, and he was telling it first person, so it happened to him, he was committed and convinced. Then he wants to tell, he goes, that's not even the best one I've ever heard. I had an editor once who went to Louisiana, specifically was called there, as we all are in this business, called and paid, flew down, right, on the destination's dime to write stories about this place, checked into a hotel that was known to be haunted, right? Total skeptic, was not somebody there who was receptive to this. She didn't think that this was, whatever. So she gets there, right? Does the whole check-in thing, goes, spends the night in the room. The next morning, the hotel staff arrives, 5:30 a.m. shift. They're the first ones there for the morning shift. She's already in the lobby, bags packed, ready to go. 5:30 in the morning. They call everybody. We flew you down here. We spent $20,000. This whole week is planned. You're not leaving. Let's get you situated back in the room. You look like you're ready to go this morning, but how can we fix this for you? And she said, okay, do you see my hair? I said, yes, beautiful French braids. Looks gorgeous. She goes, yeah, I didn't braid my hair. Went to bed with my hair the way I wear my hair and woke up with my hair braided down the back of my fucking head.
Oh, my God. First of all, my daughter would love that. But
and they said to her, we'll drive you to the airport right now. No
Oh my
explanation.
God.
No explanation. Room was fucking locked. She was alone in the room. Woke up and the room was still locked. Deadbolt fucking locked. Braided hair down the back of her fucking head. It was crazy. There were racist ghosts on some plantations.
I want
Some
all
plantations who were racist ghosts, and they would only pick on the black people and the people of color, which is fucking awful. Ridiculous. So there's gay ghosts, there's racist ghosts, there's Brady ghosts, there's all the ghosts. Ghosty, 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 ghost. Gross.
Are there any ghosts? This brings up a scene from a Chevy Chase movie. I don't remember the name of the movie, but he something gross spilled on him and he became almost like glowy nuclear grossness.
Oh.
Do you remember this movie?
Something. Yes, I'm visualizing it. Yes.
Where he was with his partner, little glowy and gross, and he didn't even have to touch her to get her off, to have sex with her. He was bored, I guess. I don't know what made him choose not to and to do it with imaginary whatever. Are there ghosts who fulfill your sexual needs when you stay at their hotels or rooms?
Or their own? I mean, is this a case where, Moaning Myrtle from good old Harry Potter is just so prepubescent when she was taken into the next life and never really got the fix and is going to make some shit happen?
As opposed to nearly headless Nick. Yeah, I get it. I fucking love Harry Potter. I can't help it. I'm so sorry. I get it. I love these stories, but a piece of I don't know what adjective you would like to use to describe this part of me wants to hear the dirty side. There is a whole, okay, well, what would make a ghost braid your hair? That's weird as fuck, but why doesn't it get any dirtier than that? I want to hear the dirty side. Especially from you, dear listener, if you have a dirty side.
Are you kidding? Well, then we have to just shout out
a story.
We just have to shout out to Brittany Felix because, and I'm not sure if she's a listener. I'll reach out to her, and I know she's dealing with some stuff with her dog right now. So shout out to Lorelai. Yes, but on the mend, in the right direction, but a tough, long walk. She is a paranormal investigator. She's in the podcasting space. She does a lot of content. She's heavily involved with She Podcasts, the group. So folks may know her through there as well. But I will reach out. She is always going on these trips, trying to get ghosts to interact with her. So maybe there's some sort of ghostly dating app that we can investigate where there's sort of, the crossover team. I don't know, man. I don't think I want to do it with a ghost.
The crossover team. All right, Amy, are you ready? No joke,
No.
Listener. I want your fucking ghost stories. They don't have to be sexual, but there's swag in it for you.
Yeah, there's an A+ for sex.
If there is sexual content in your ghost story, because
7 minutes.
I'm weird like that. Okay, 30 seconds with Amy. She's just writing her crooked shoulders right now to make sure she's ready. All right. 30 seconds to Amy. Amy, in the next 30 seconds, tell me as many of this topic as you can. The topic is sandwiches. Begin.
Reuben, Italian, submarine, turkey, peanut butter, tuna, spaghetti sandwich. My father's favorite. Fluffernutter.
Yeah.
A Rachel, which is a turkey Reuben. Then we're going to have a grilled cheese sandwich, bologna, ham, chicken salad. What's a sandwich? Technically a sandwich. A French dip is a sandwich.
Stop. Okay. That was pretty great. You did great. What's a spaghetti sandwich?
Well, it is as you would imagine. It's 2 pieces of bread.
What kind of bread? This does not sound like you at all.
Italian bread that you have in your house because you're an Italian. So, and when
you an Italian,
because when for some reason you don't finish the spaghetti from the night before, you have some cold noodles and tomato gravy in the refrigerator, and so you scoop them out onto the bread and you eat them and you walk away eating this sickening thing that I'm not going to have, but he would have with regularity. Yeah, it's a spaghetti sandwich. So my husband used to have a similar disgusting thing. They would have rice sandwiches. Yeah.
You make no sense. You're like, let's just put all the carbs in one place and make a sandwich
pour.
out
What
of it.
you want from me? We can't all have, Procter and Gamble money or whatever the fuck you had in your house. I don't know. Yeah, this is how it worked. There was no doctors in my house. We had spaghetti sandwiches, cold coffee. Yep, that's it. There you go. Congrats.
I've never heard of a spaghetti sandwich. That was 14. You were well on your way. You got motivated and
well, the reality is sandwich is a tricky category because you then get into the culinary discussion of what is a sandwich. Yes. Is a hot dog a sandwich? Is a hamburger a sandwich?
I heard that. That's what
brought
this up.
Is a hoagie a sandwich? Is a submarine a sandwich? So I was sort of sidestepping. So I was running them in my head like, nope. So, but if all right. I mean, I don't want to get too political, but if a hot dog's not a sandwich, what the fuck is it?
It's meat in a pocket.
It's a protein in between two bread items. So
what's
a sandwich?
Jelly sandwich is a sandwich, but a hot dog. Somebody said that on Colbert. He asks like this 10 questions or whatever, 50, whatever he asks. And he says, "What's your favorite sandwich?" And one of his guests said a hot dog, and everybody went,
yeah, that's like a taco is not a
taco
sandwich.
Is not a sandwich.
Yeah, no, but everybody knows that. But the hot
dog. Dear listener, is a hot dog a sandwich? You can give us the wrong opinion at brilliantobservations@gmail.com by saying, yes, of course it's a sandwich. It's meat between bread. But, I mean, it's really like a pocket. It's not as much whatever. I want your opinion.
I love
you now know mine.
Sandwiches, too. I totally forgot about
What is?
Potato sandwiches. They're a delicacy. They're delicious.
Potato sandwiches?
Yes, ma'am.
How are you preparing that potato? Because I'll eat potato in literally every form, and I thought, until you said potato sandwich.
Well, we have something in our family called Grandma's Breakfast, and it's basically just a massive smorgasbord. Right, and so you would take an Italian roll or a piece of Italian bread and scoop out a lot of the bread and stuff the inside with the fried onions, potatoes, and the fried sausage and everything else that you had and some roasted red peppers and put it all in there and eat it. Ha-ha, sandwich. Delicious. Then come to find out that the Spanish do a similar thing as part of their culinary tradition, where they basically take a flattened potato tort, effectively, or like a frittata, right? So cooked potatoes that have been smashed down in a pan, tartare style, and they scoop those out and shove it between bread and eat it that way. But it's something that you can order and buy. Like it's not just because somebody's grandmom did this with leftovers.
What sauce is on there? What?
Nothing. It's
seasoning?
Potatoes and bread. And it's because the potatoes have been soaked in oil and garlic and salt and pepper. The potatoes themselves are the real star of the dish. And then the bread is just a way to get it more effectively into your face, I believe.
It's a way to hold it and not need a fork.
I will look it up, though, because when it occurred to me, when someone mentioned this to me, I thought, "Oh, that's just like," and then I never went and learned the name. So now I will learn the name and post the name.
I'm
potato
a fan
sandwich,
of
Spanish style.
All things potato. I'm a fan of. I want all of it in my pile.
The potato.
Usually on the weekends because that's when I'll eat like a fucking crazy person. But now I'm going to go have some egg whites. Dear listener, thanks for turning up, turning out, turning over, and finding a cold, icy hand running across your chest, and your hair got braided overnight. Do you see my hair? I do. I did not do this to my hair. I need to meet her. I need to go to that fucking hotel. I'm all in. But that really fucks with my theory that there's a camera in like every compromised room, like bathrooms. If there's a ghost in there too, I'd have trouble. I'd have lots of trouble. Thank you so much for listening. We love you so much. We're so grateful for you. Those are all the so's I have to use today. I hope I don't run into Sammy Sosa. That's it. We love you. Bye. Bye.